Okay.
It's a Friday night double dip on CSN and CSN Plus. Blackhawks hit the road for the first time this season. They're in Music City, Nashville, to take on PK Subban and the Predators. Blackhawks pregame live starts our coverage at 6:30. Pat Foley and the Great Enzo have the call at 7 o'clock. Meanwhile, the NBA champs are in town, and on CSN Plus, Bulls host the Cavaliers. The NBA preseason continues. No Jimmy Butler tonight, but we do have Neil and Stacy. They'll have the call from the United Center at 7 o'clock. Meanwhile, we are one day away from the NLCS, and the Cubs finally have an opponent. The Dodgers win an epic Game 5. The Cubs are ready to go. Their reward, facing the best team in baseball. Does LA have a shot? Or will the Cubbies finally make an appearance in the Fall Classic? Welcome in to Sports Talk Live, presented by the Chevy Silverado. Hope you had a good week, ready for a great weekend. I'm David Kaplan. Panel for today's show. He's from the Bleacher Report. He is Seth Gruen. He is at ESPN 1000. He is Ben Finfer. And from WGN Radio and Fansided.com, he's Mark Carmen. All right, let's get started with baseball. Last night, we had an epic game. We started our Cubs drive to the championship, presented by Lexus. Dodgers beat the Nationals last night in a 4-hour-plus game that saw Clayton Kershaw get his first save as a big leaguer. That was a huge at-bat right there, getting Daniel Murphy. Dodgers win 4-3. So, Mr. Finfer, I'll start with you. This matchup is compelling. Do you give a decided advantage, as the analytical people do to the Cubs?
I give them an advantage. I'll trust the analytical people. They've done the numbers. I think if you look at the way the rotations match up based on who the Dodgers were forced to use in games 4 and 5, that gives the Cubs the big advantage right there. They are able to line up the rotation the way they want. The Dodgers are stuck waiting for game 2 and 3 for Kershaw and Rich Hill. So I think right there is an advantage. I think the key is going to be, of course, the Cubs offense. Did it wake up in the 9th inning the other day? Because if it's still showing up the same way it did earlier in those games, then it's not going to matter which starters you're facing in that series.
Yeah, it's funny. I was asked this question on the radio today, and my answer was, yeah, of course the Cubs are the better team, and you think they're going to win, but there's so much randomness to baseball that a close 0-0 game could be decided by a bloop single. And the reality is, it's not like basketball where LeBron James is playing 45 minutes in a game. Chris Bryant may be the best player on either of these two teams, but he's only going to come to the plate 5 times. It's just a different sport that allows for these kind of upsets.
Well, let's just have a moment of joy here. And the Chicago Cubs were down 5-2 on the road to a team that had won the World Series in 3 of the last 5 years, and they came back with 4 in the 9th to win. Are you kidding me? Like that? I don't know what you guys are doing, but I just was like, did that really just happen? So if not now, I just don't know when. I mean, it has to be the year. You just had the greatest postseason performance that no one in the history of Cubdom, including David Kaplan, ever thought would be possible. I mean, Ben Zobrist's line of the
That was by far the best win I've ever seen the Cubs get.
Guys, but aren't the Dodgers saying the same thing? I mean, they come back from 2-1 down in their series. So if you're going to go by who's feeling the magic, who has the momentum,
but the difference is the Cubs are usually on the wrong end of that. They stole some of that magic from the Giants.
Well, the Dodgers haven't won in a while. My point is that I think anything that happened in the previous series, whether it's to the Dodgers or Cubs, you throw it out. That doesn't matter at this point, except for the fact that the Dodgers were forced to use their starters late into those games in Game 5.
So you're not necessarily willing to go there yet. That, I mean, who do you think is going to win the series?
I think the Cubs are going to win the series, but I don't think it's because of what happened in Game 4 the other night, which I agree was an unbelievable night, one of the most memorable Cubs games ever. But I think when Game 1 starts tomorrow, that's all gone.
Well, of course, it's going to come down to, who's the better team.
Momentum in baseball is the next day starting pitch.
No, I mean, I agree. But you look at, who you're running out. How do you not feel comfortable with the rotation?
And you hope that sparks the bats, too. I mean, bets are cold until they get hot again, and at some point they get hot, and it's very possible that an inning like that could get them to roll.
Well, that's what they need, yeah.
And you got to hope that, Rizzo finally had a decent game in Game 4, a couple of walks, and finally got his first hit of the series, so you got to hope that he can carry that over. That's
Are you more relaxed as a Cubs fan than you were going into the DS? I thought there was more trepidation among the fans going into the DS because you win 103 games, you get knocked out in round 1. Yeah, it would have devastated people.
You wanted to get us at least as far as you did last year, I think, but also the randomness of a 5-game series versus a 7-game series. You have to keep an eye on that, too. So I think that was the difference. Personally, I feel as confident now as I did before that series, that you're going into it with clearly the best team in the matchup. There's no guarantee, so there's always that anxiety of the randomness of baseball or the fact that the Dodgers are just a pretty good baseball team. But the Cubs have shown that they could win even when they're not playing their best. So I do like them in this series against the Dodgers.
I think the lack of anxiety is more attributed to the fact that for the first time, basically, in this team's history, people feel like we're going to be talking about the Cubs in October for many years to come. You go back to the 03 NLCS, and people felt like that was a much smaller window with which to win.
They had Wood, Pryor, Zambrano, good young players.
Yeah,
people
but they
thought
didn't have
that
the
was the start
players.
of a run.
But they didn't have the kind of position players that this team does now.
Well, no, but we didn't. But Cap is right. In 03, we thought that the Cubs had their rotation set for 6-7 years.
Right.
And it was going to be the best in baseball.
I agree with that, but that team was nowhere near the quality of this team.
Well, you're doing that with the beneficiary of hindsight, because going into 04,
but you can do
the
that,
cover of Sports Illustrated was, it happens, hell freezes over, Cubs win a World Series. People thought that team, because of the pitching, was built to last.
Well, but now we know that pitching is fragile and that the prudent way to build a roster is around position players.
Well,
it's just a different. This team is constructed totally different.
Well, you're both right. I mean, at the time, everybody thought the Cubs were going to have an incredible run, and I think right now you can be very comfortable in the fact that they should be good for many years to come. They're going to have to address the rotation at some point here, but you would think that they're going to be a team that's going to score runs for many, and play incredible defense.
But who cares about years to come, though? We got
I agree.
Yeah, and I was just going to say, he's exactly right.
Yeah.
You say, they got years to come and they got this.
No, look, they don't win it this year. It's a failure.
I guarantee you 99.9% of the Cub fans don't give a flying rip about next year.
Right.
It's this year. We want to hear from you. Here's our Sports Talk Live poll question. Go to csnchicago.com/vote. Who wins the NLCS? We'll have results later in the show. You will see them tally right on your screen. To the Bears, where there has not been much good news in this 1-4 season, but they might have gotten some today. Pernell McPhee returned to practice today. Team has 21 days to decide whether they want to activate him off of the PUP, physically unable to perform list, or sit him down for the rest of the season. The earliest he could play is next Thursday night against the Green Bay Packers. McPhee would not go into specifics about his injury, just that he was happy to be back.
Awesome. I feel great, man. I'm out there practicing, running around with my teammates, so that's the best feeling in the world. It's real tough, seeing my brothers out there fighting, but, we here now, baby. Ain't no more watching, no more nothing. I'm here now, and it's been a journey, like I say, but I'm here now. Listen, man, I'm blessed. I get the opportunity to go out there and play football again. And y'all just wait on it. You'll see, man. That's the only thing that matters. I'm healthy.
If he comes back, does it matter?
No, of course not. I mean, this team is not going to the playoffs. And as far as this circumstance is concerned, I am just at a loss as to how they've handled it. I don't understand. I don't understand what they're doing or how they're handling him. I mean, they could have dealt with the injury, what was it, week 14 of last year?
He missed week 13, and then he played 14, 15, 16.
Because they said they were trying to win games?
Ridiculous.
That was ludicrous. So I would have no problem, to be honest with you, with them shutting him down for the year.
I think it is good that he's coming back. Now, forget the playoffs. That was never in the cards anyway, but you do want to still see progression with this defense, and I think it helps to have your best player out there. It'll help Leonard Floyd ultimately to have Pernell McPhee. When Eddie Golden comes back, it'll help to have McPhee. Yeah, you're not thinking Super Bowl playoffs now that McPhee's back, but it does help progression.
Got to get him right first, though. In my mind, he should be 100%.
You do want to, at the end of the day, though, lose football games. I mean, that's the reality, right? You're not going anywhere. So, in theory, Pernell McPhee actually probably will help you win a couple football games.
They will not tell you they want to lose football games. But the prudent thing, if you're not going to the playoffs, as Theo always said, You don't want to win 75. You want to win 65.
They're going to lose plenty of games whether you want them to or not. At least you want to see these guys take another step, some of these young players. And I think feedback helps that.
I agree with what you said, but ultimately the best organizations are the ones that find the great players no matter where they're drafting, like the Patriots.
All right, Bulls preseason continues with the champs in town. Jimmy Butler will not be playing. He's getting a little time off. Should we expect him to play all 82 this season? That, plus the Blackhawks look to drop the hammer tonight in Smashville. STL's back after this.
Sports Talk Live is presented by your Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana Chevy dealers who know what it takes to be number one. It's all about drive.
How's it going? Hi. Today we're going to be comparing the roll-form steel bed of the Chevy Silverado to the aluminum bed of this competitor's truck. Awesome. Let's see how the aluminum bed of this truck held up.
Wow, that's a good-sized puncture. You're aluminum now, you're going to go, ooh.
Let's check out the Silverado's steel bed.
Wow. Yeah, a couple dents. I'd expect more dents.
It's Truck Month. Make a strong decision. Find your tag and get over $11,000 total value on this Silverado All-Star.
Did you just see that?
That was awesome.
We have to try it.
Okay. Okay, mine's not working.
Maybe you have to bump it.
Oh, yeah, do the bump it thing.
Right.
Okay. No.
You can take money out using the BMO Harris app.
You want to buy a hairless cat? There's a pet store down the street.
Cool.
I think she said BMO Harris app.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
When your phone is your debit card, that's the BMO effect. BMO Harris Bank. We're here to help.
People often ask me, John, how do you do it? Still making pizzas after 30 years. Seriously, guys, it ain't rocket science. It ain't physics. It's pizza. And I love pizza.
Get the monster deal today. An extra large 2-topping pizza for just $12 with promo code MONSTER at papajohns.com.
Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's.
Do you have too many bills but not enough money? Would you like one lower payment for all debt, little or no money down? I'm attorney Peter Francis Geraci. Our Chapter 13 plans stop collections and creditors in one day for as low as $95 every 2 weeks. Get rid of bill collectors and high car payments. Get one lower payment today. Call or click now.
When you need to be debt-free, call 1-800-CALL-PFG. That's 1-800-CALL-PFG.
Tonight, your Hawks invade Music City in a must-see road opener against the Preds. Watch them turn up the volume and drown out the noise. Coverage begins at 6:30 with Blackhawks pregame live on CSN. Opening week presented by the DQ $5 lunch.
Bulls preseason continues tonight at 7 o'clock on CSN Plus. They host the Cavaliers at the United Center. No Jimmy Butler tonight or tomorrow night. Team is resting him, or so Butler says. But intrepid beat reporter Vincent Goodwill from CSNChicago.com wasn't about to let Butler off the hook that easily.
Jimmy, you know you haven't been forthcoming with us as far as injuries going back to last year when you lied for the whole second half of the year. You know, so why are we to believe that there's actually nothing wrong with you right now?
Because the only thing that you know is what I tell you. So I'm completely fine, and I'm just resting.
So if there was something wrong, you wouldn't tell us?
Probably not, because the media is not your friend. So, you know, no, but I'm good. I'm really just resting. I'm good for right now.
Thanks, Fred. I mean, Jimmy, sorry.
Thanks, Fred. So, do you have expectations that this is a playoff basketball team on the west side of our great city, Mark?
Sure, I think they are a playoff team. Okay.
No, do you believe that?
I do.
Take a stand here.
Well, I think I think they will make the playoffs. I don't think they're going to do much.
Over-under's 38.5 in Vegas. How are you taking it, over or under?
I'll take the over. I think they'll be a little bit better than people think. I don't think they're going to be great. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what the point is of what's going on right now, other than just sort of selling a couple seats and having not being completely abysmal. I think abysmal would have been a good call.
They're trying to be a compelling watch is really what they're doing. This team obviously isn't going to the championship.
They're far more compelling on a Wednesday night in the middle of January when it's snowing, it's cold, you walk in the house, you go, what am I going to do tonight? Oh, you know what? D-Wade's on TV. I'll watch that.
Exactly.
Right. But is that the right way to be doing it, though?
It's
What's
not.
your choice?
Look,
To go 10 and 72?
Yeah.
What about
That's a choice.
I don't want the Sixers here.
What about this team suggests it's built to play what's become a modern style of basketball? They have little to no three-point shooting out there. They have Rajon Rondo, who's an unbelievable.
Rajon, by the way.
Rajon Rondo, whatever, who's an unbelievably difficult personality to deal with. He's been a problem everywhere he's
Except
been.
they have said that they've been blown away how good he's been to deal with.
It's been 2 weeks.
And you know what? The Dodgers said that about Yasiel Puig, and we've heard this.
I'm trying to be positive here.
Okay.
I'm a Chicago guy. I'm trying to bring positivity, and all you're doing is bringing us down.
I've always liked Rondo as a player.
I'm a realist. I'm a realist. What has he done that suggests he's gonna be a different player here than he was anywhere else?
Yeah, but he led the NBA in assists last year at 12 a game. I mean, this is still a guy.
This guy's not a stumble bum.
I mean, he's got
some ability.
Do you think
I agree.
Team?
As Tibbs says, he's an offense.
If they are,
himself.
they're in the 7 or 8 spot. They're not a contender in the East.
It's going to be like last year. They're going to be fighting to be a 500 team, which in the East puts you right on the brink of making the postseason. Even if they make it, they're not going anywhere. So it's a waste of a year.
You have 3 guys on that team, all who need the ball. What makes you think that the relationship between Rondo and Jimmy, who wants it to be his team, is going to be any different from Derek and Jimmy?
Oh, it'll be
from
better
a basketball perspective.
That clown show moved out of town. Things are going to be a whole lot better.
You see. You'll wait and see.
You enjoy him, New York. He's all yours. You can have him.
He's going to have a big
when
year.
he gets back from his trial in L.A. All right, let's move on to hockey. Blackhawks are in Nashville tonight. You'll get the game right here, and they get Nicholas Hjalmarsson back. There really is no buzz now. I know the Cubs are obscuring everything going on.
Yes.
Football's not good in our town. But right now, and this is a 3-time Cup winner, I would say there's really no buzz right now. Would you agree with that, Ben?
Of course I would agree with that. There's not, but the Cubs are a big part of that. I think you would have to say the World Cup of Hockey buzz hasn't worn off yet. People are still talking about that. No, it's the Cubs. The Cubs are gobbling up everything right now. There's no buzz for anything but playoff baseball at this point.
Yeah, it's not their fault at all. I agree. It's because of the Cubs, and the reality is, I think you mentioned this in the green room.
You just wait.
Exactly.
But you just wait. As soon as the Cubs win the World Series this year, what are people going to do? The Bears are going to be done at that point, basically. The Bulls aren't going anywhere.
They'll turn their attention to
Of course, they have like every year.
John Lester lights out in Game 1 of the NLCS. Now the stakes are even higher in the NLCS. Are his starts must-wins for the Cubs? Tom Berducci from Fox Sports and Sports Illustrated joins us to handicap the NLCS next. And don't forget, go to csnchicago.com/vote. Weigh in on tonight's STL poll question. We want your thoughts. Who wins the NLCS? Final results ahead on Sports Talk Live.
Let old Count Bobula take the bite out of all high car prices. The best deals can be found at Schaumburg Ford.
During our construction closeout sale, get the best incentives of the year on select 2016 models.
Be sure to see us before you buy.
Bob Rohrman.
Bob Rohrman, Schaumburg Ford, just west of the Whitfield Mall on Gulf Road, Schaumburg.
The Blackhawk store has come to the Chicago Premium Outlets in Aurora. Visit today to find great deals on merchandise from past Winter Classics, Stadium Series games, and the 2013 and 2015 Stanley Cup Championships. Visit blackhawkstore.com for more information.
Your living room TV. If only you could bring it with you anywhere you went. It's got everything. Your live channels, instant access to the best entertainment, plus your recorded shows. The only problem is, it's stuck in your living room. Well, not anymore. Finally, you have the power to make the world your living room. Now the live channels you love and watch at home are with you anywhere. Download the new free DirecTV app. It's your TV. Take it with you.
Mike Anderson Chevrolet in Chicago brings you an all-star lineup for 2016.
Let's start at the top of the roster with the redesigned Chevy Malibu.
Our team favorite is the Chevy Silverado.
Pack away all your gear in this full-size pickup truck.
This month, save up to 33% on select 2016 Chevys in stock, like this brand new 2016 Spark LT. Was $18,560, now only $12,968.
Visit Mike Anderson Chevrolet in Chicago, 1 mile west of the Kennedy on beautiful Irving Park Road.
Mike Anderson Chevrolet.
The Chevy Giant.
See you soon.
SportsNet Central every night at 6:30, 10, 10:30, and midnight.
Cubs are in the NLCS, so we decided we needed a Hall of Famer in our lineup. Ryan Sandberg will join Todd Hollinsworth and me for Cubs postseason live before and after every NLCS game. Begins tomorrow at 6 from Wrigley. Hear Rhino break down the Cubs on their road to the World Series only on Comcast SportsNet. And check out the stat of the day driven by the Chevy Silverado here on CSN. Home field advantage in the NLCS has been a good thing of late. In 3 of the last 4 seasons, the team that hosts games 1 and 2 of the NLCS went on to win the series. Only the Giants in 2014 won the pennant in starting the NLCS on the road. NLCS Game 1 tomorrow night at Wrigley Field. Cubs and Los Angeles Dodgers. Fox Sports' Tom Verducci joins us from the confines on Sports Talk Live. Tom, I want to start with you by looking at this matchup. The last time these two teams met in the postseason, the Dodgers came into Wrigley, took 2, put the Cubs away in the DS in 2008. But the Cubs roll into this one, a far different team that was the favorite in 08. How would you gauge the mood, the expectation around the Cubs?
Well, I even believe it's higher than it was back then when they had I thought the best team in the league that year. And I think the fact that we're now looking at a 7-game series as opposed to the 5-game series back then, actually that to me is more favorable to the Cubs because I think they have the deeper team. And of course, of a best out of 7, depth comes more into play. Don't forget the middle games. You get 3, 4, or 5, 3 games in a row for the first time. So to me, the Cubs are sitting pretty with the home field advantage. Key for me in this entire series, though, is going to be John Lester. I don't want to say these are must-win games when John Lester gets the ball, but with all the troubles the Dodgers have against left-handed pitching, by far the worst team in the league against lefties, those are the games you really have to win. If somehow the Dodgers steal Game 1 or steal the second start for John Lester, that's something that could flip the series.
When you look at what the Dodgers had to do to beat the Nationals, a great game on Thursday night. They got to beat Max Scherzer in his building. Kershaw comes in. Kenley Jansen trying to go for a 3-inning save. Will they be at razor-sharp peak efficiency on Saturday night, or is it hard to ramp it back up that quickly?
Listen, I think they're a compromised team. If you're in the playoffs, second round, this is exactly what you want to see of your second-round opponent. Really just have both teams, your opponents, that is, knock the tar out of each other and come in compromised. That's the case with the Dodgers really extending Jansen and Kershaw. Actually, Dusty Baker, the Nationals manager, talked about that after Game 5 in Washington, that let's see if they have to pay a price in the NLCS. The other thing to keep your eye on is Kenta Maeda, the starting pitcher for the Dodgers. To me, he looked a little bit worn down in his start in the division series. So, yes, I think the Dodgers will come in here focused. No doubt about that. The energy is going to be electric, so they're not going to be flat. The question is, how sharp can they be? How healthy can they be?
When you look at the Cubs and you mentioned John Lester, Kyle Hendricks gets the ball in Game 2, and then Jake Arrieta in Game 3. You've written extensively about Jake. He isn't the Jake of a year ago, but he's still a pretty convincing case to be one of the top pitchers in the league. What's your take on where Jake Arrieta is right now?
Yeah, I think he's in a good place, just not the same place he was in last year when he was almost inhuman in the second half of the season, machine-like with command. Doesn't have the same command. The other thing I see is hitters have really changed their approach against Jake. Those swing and misses he used to get on the breaking ball and that cutter slider, to right-handed hitters especially, right-handed hitters know they have a tough time hitting it, but it also tends to wind up outside of the strike zone. So he's getting more takes, pitch counts getting elevated. But I'll tell you this, if Jake could pick one place to pitch, if it wasn't Wrigley Field, you know it would be Dodger Stadium. And it looks like that's where he'll be in Game 3. So I think the question for Jake starts is how quickly does Joe Maddon go to his left-handed relievers? And with all due respect to Jake Arrieta, I already talked about how much they struggle against left-handed pitching. Joe Maddon will have 3 lefties in the bullpen, and we've seen other teams run in those lefties as often and as early as possible. So you may be looking at a quicker hook than usual on Jake Arrieta and Kyle Hendricks.
Last one, handicap the series. How does this thing break out in your opinion? Is the unthinkable going to happen? The Chicago Cubs playing for a world title?
I expect that will happen, and I do because of the depth of the Cubs. And again, I'll go back to John Lester. Being rested on turn against a team that really struggles against left-handed pitching, to me, he's the key to this series. Start 2 of the first 4 or 5 games, and that's going to be tough for the Dodgers to make up the other games, especially if Kershaw comes out of his LDS a little bit compromised.
Appreciate your time. I know how busy you are. I'll see you at the ballpark.
You got it. Thank you.
And couldn't get it, and he's livid with a fan. That's awfully close to fan interference right there. And that's a Cub fan who tried to make that catch.
That was 13 years ago today. This poor guy has never gotten his life back.
No.
It was not his fault that that team gagged their way out. And I don't even want to think about that memory anymore.
This is the whole point of 2016 is to start forgetting about all of these. 84, 03, it's gone. It's over.
Agreed.
Move on.
I hope they do. When the Cubs ultimately do win the big one, I hope they do something for him because he's taken an unnecessary rash.
No question.
He doesn't want it. It's pretty clear. He wants to be anonymous, I think, for the rest of his Cub fan life.
It'd be pretty cool if he rode with Theo in the parade if they ever won it. All right, let's take a look at our poll question again here. Okay, who wins the NLCS? How many games does it go down? And there you see the numbers. 40% have the Chicago Cubs winning it in 5. Mark?
I think that's aggressive. 6 feels a little bit more comfortable to me. So let's say 6 games.
You have the Cubs.
I do.
I'm going with the mass. I'm going with the 40%. Cubs in 5.
That's where I went.
I say 6. I think the Dodgers are going to win at least 1.
That would be 2.
No, I'm saying I'm going 6, but I think they're going to win at least 1 in my opinion.
Okay. You went to Illinois. And
I know. All right. They're going to win 2.
All right.
A rough year for
that
us.
is a wrap for Sports Talk Live, presented by the Chevy Silverado. Remember, subscribe to the Sports Talk Live podcast at csnchicago.com/podcast. Don't miss an episode. Have a great weekend. We'll see you Monday.
How's it going? Hi. Today we're going to be comparing the roll-form steel bed of the Chevy Silverado to the aluminum bed of this competitor's truck. Awesome. Let's see how the aluminum bed of this truck held up.
Oh, that's a good-sized puncture. You're aluminum now, you're going to go, ooh.
Let's check out the Silverado's steel bed.
Wow. Yeah, a couple dents. I'd expect more dents.
It's Truck Month. Make a strong decision. Find your tag and get over $11,000 total value on this Silverado All-Star.
My name is Jim Cornelison, and I am the national anthem singer for professional hockey in Chicago. I am in front of millions of people every time I get out on that ice. And the more I've been on camera in the last few years, I noticed, the ball patch coming in. Ultimately, I had to face the truth. I just had less hair up there.
Get your own head of thick, full hair with Restore.
The procedure is quick, it's comfortable, it's pain-free. There's no cutting, there's no stitching, and there's no linear scar. It's my own hair. It's just moved from the back to the front. I was in the morning. I was out in the afternoon.
Comb it, cut it, style it. It's your hair. You're just one call away from looking and feeling more confident.
When I walk out on the ice and I know I'm going to be on that Jumbotron, I feel good about how I look.
Call Restore today for your free consultation and get a $500 gift card. It may be the first step that changes your life forever.
Call 1-800-873-7171 or visit restorehair.com.
Do you have too many bills but not enough money? Would you like one lower payment for all debt, little or no money down? I'm attorney Peter Francis Geraci. Our Chapter 13 plans stop collections and creditors in one day for as low as $95 every 2 weeks. Get rid of bill collectors and high car payments. Get one lower payment today. Call or click now.
When you need to be debt-free, call 1-800-CALL-PFG. That's 1-800-CALL-PFG.
Did you just see that?
That was awesome.
We have to try it.
Okay. Okay, mine's not working.
Maybe you have to bump it.
Oh, yeah, do the bump it thing.
Right.
Okay. Yeah.
You can take money out using the BMO Harris app.
You want to buy a hairless cat? There's a pet store down the street.
Cool.
I think she said BMO Harris app.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
When your phone is your debit card, that's the BMO effect. BMO Harris Bank. We're here to help.
Hi, this is Ben Zobrist, and you're watching the home of Cubs baseball, CSN Chicago, presented by State Farm.
The Blackhawks are in Nashville tonight to take on the Predators. We've got the game right here on CSN. Puck drop just after 7. Blackhawks pregame live comes your way at 6:30 with Pat, Steve, and Jamal. But that's not all on CSN Plus. The Bulls host the world champion Cavs. Game tips off at 7 o'clock. Blackhawks and Bulls both only on CSN tonight at 7 o'clock.
Kershaw for the save. 2 on and 2 out. The pitch to Defoe. Swung on and missed. Strike 3. Dropped by Ruiz. Throws to first. And the Dodgers are going to Chicago as Clayton Kershaw, in his first relief appearance in 7 years, records the save. The Dodgers come from behind and beat the Nationals 4-3 to win the National League Division Series 3-2.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of blue around town. It's the Dodgers and Cubs for the National League pennant. Hi, I'm Luke Stuckmeyer. This is SportsNet Central, presented by Comcast Business. Game 1 is just 25 hours away at Wrigley Field.
To SportsNet Central, presented by Comcast Business.
We start with the road to a championship presented by Lexus, and we go live out to Wrigley Field and our Kelly Krull, where Joe Madden just revealed his rotation for the NLCS. Hi, Kelly.
Hi, Luke. Yeah, not a big surprise. We all kind of figured as long as Kyle Hendricks was healthy, he would be the Game 2 starter, and that is who Joe Madden announced today that he would take the mound on Sunday. And then after that, it's going to stay the same as the DS rotation. You'll have Jake Arrieta going in Game 3 with John Lackey going in Game 4 out in Los Angeles. And it's the Dodgers, as we just heard from you. They've won 4 of the 7 against LA this year. But as we just saw in Los Angeles' game last night, this is a team that continues to find ways to win despite their health and some of the difficult things they've had to go up against. And Madden earlier this afternoon breaking down what will be another very difficult opponent.
I was looking at their roster, and they have I know Howie very well, Kendricks. Howie's I've had Howie with the Angels. Know of him well. I think they have one of the best young players in the game in Seager at shortstop. He is an incredibly good talent, especially at the plate. He's different. Turner at third base. He's the kind of guy. He's from Long Beach guy, so you know how they play baseball, and even Utley's from Long Beach also. I mean, that's just a little pocket out there that I've always been impressed with. So they're tough. The word grind is used excessively this time of the year, actually during the season, but right now you hear grinding all the time. But I think they have that within their fabric. They are grinders. Their pitching, bullpen could really match up. They got significant lefties and righties. They're good.
John Lester will look to set the tone once again in Game 1 Saturday night. The lefty fresh off his 8th shutout innings against the Giants in Game 1 of the NLDS. Tomorrow will mark Lester's 16th postseason start, and he says experience for this young group will be key to feeling more comfortable on this stage this year.
I think the biggest thing is just being on that stage, being in that moment of the NLCS last year, and I think it left, a lot of bitter taste in guys' mouths as far as, how far we had come that season to get to that point and then really not even put up a fight. I mean, those guys really dominated us, and I think being in that moment, learning from that, moving on to this one, and I think a lot of guys are just in a better place. Like we said earlier, a lot of guys were new last year and not as comfortable as they are this year, so that should help a lot more as well.
You get the sense, Luke, from talking to all of the guys in the clubhouse, especially the young guys, that they are ready to change the script this time of year in the NLCS. And Addison Russell, one of those who didn't have a chance, of course, to go up against the Mets, is chomping at the bit, he said, to get out here healthy now this year. But the Cubs, having gone through about an hour and a half of a workout this afternoon, they'll get some rest and be ready to go tomorrow night. Here from Wrigley Field, let's go ahead and send it back to you in the studio.
Sounds good. Thanks, Kelly. We'll see you at 10:30 tonight on Cubs Playoff Central.
You got it.
It is time for Built for Business, presented by Comcast Business. Aroldis Chapman's 3 saves leading all closers this postseason. Cody Allen and Kenley Jansen both have 2, and then it's Clayton Kershaw's name popping up, tied with 2 actual closers. Let's hope Kershaw doesn't get a second save this postseason. Comcast Business, Built for Business. Blackhawks and Preds drop the puck on CSN at 7 tonight. The Hawks will be looking for their first points of the season after losing their home opener to the Blues. One player in particular, Trevor Van Riemsdyk, may be in Coach Q's early season doghouse. The young defenseman, a healthy scratch for tonight's contest.
Well, we got to make a tough decision. Obviously, we expect him to be one of the guys that are going to be regularly playing, and based on sometimes it's going to be performance and sometimes needs. So I think it's more a situation where we get Hammer coming back, and I guess we'll have to look at it. We need him to be better than he was opening night.
Do you have in your head how this rotation is going to work? How you're going to keep everybody in the mix?
Well, every game could be different. I know that we'd like to get some more predictability in our pairs and how the games are going on the back end as well. So we'll go from right now. We'll go day to day on that, but we'd like to get some predictability on that.
So TVR the scratch tonight. Quenneville mixing up his lines against the Predators as well. Panarin, Taves, and Panik start on the top line. Mott, Anisimov, and Kane will be on the second line tonight. Marian Hossa drops to the third line with Hartman and Kruger. Javier Baez burst onto the national scene with his amazing divisional series. We'll ask Ken Rosenthal who's next in line to steal the spotlight for the Cubs in the NLCS. Bears have had their share of bad luck with injuries this season, but that could change in the next few weeks. A key performer from last season's defense takes a huge step today.
SportsNet Central brought to you by Comcast Business. Comcast Business, built for business.
When you're on hold, your business is on hold. That's why Comcast Business doesn't leave you there. When you call, a small business expert will answer you in about 30 seconds. No annoying hold music. Just a real person, real fast, whenever you need them. So your business can get back to business. Sounds like my ride's ready.
Don't get stuck on hold. Reach an expert fast. Comcast Business, built for business.
Tonight on CSN Plus, the defending champs hit town for a preseason matchup with your Bulls. And stream the game live at csnchicago.com or on the NBC Sports app. Bulls versus Cavaliers, live at 7 on CSN Plus.
Do you have too many bills but not enough money? Would you like one lower payment for all debt, little or no money down? I'm attorney Peter Francis Geraci. Our Chapter 13 plans stop collections and creditors in one day for as low as $95 every 2 weeks. Get rid of bill collectors and high car payments. Get one lower payment today. Call or click now.
When you need to be debt-free, call 1-800-CALL-PFG. That's 1-800-CALL-PFG.
Esurance does auto insurance a smarter way, like their photo claims tool. It helps settle your claim quickly, which saves time, which saves money. And when they save, you save. That's auto and home insurance for the modern world. Esurance, an Allstate company. Click or call. Esurance does insurance a smarter way, which saves money, like bundling home and auto coverage, which reduces red tape, which saves money. And when they save, you save. That's home and auto insurance for the modern world. Esurance, an Allstate company. Click or call.
Tonight, your Hawks invade Music City in a must-see road opener against the Preds. Watch them turn up the volume and drown out the noise. Coverage begins at 6:30 with Blackhawks pregame live on CSN. Opening week presented by the DQ $5 lunch.
Joe Blanton to Chris Bryant as we start the 8th. Bryant in the air, deep center, and it will go 4-3. Deep drive, way back, and that baby's gone. He's done it again.
That was back in August. Chris Bryant and the Cubs ready for the LA Dodgers, 8 wins away from a World Series championship. And right now we welcome in Ken Rosenthal from Fox Sports. Ken, thanks for your time. We appreciate it. We thought the Cubs' biggest advantage going into that Giants series might be their bullpen. That proved to be true. What's their biggest advantage over the Dodgers in the NLCS?
Left-handed pitching, Luke, and there's not much question about this. The Dodgers have struggled against left-handed pitching all year. Their numbers offensively are not good. Now, they've won a good amount of games started by left-handed pitchers, but when you look at them overall, that is a weak spot. And you've got John Lester going twice in the series. You've got 3 left-handers in the bullpen. They should be in good shape in that regard.
Javier Baez really burst onto the national scene in the last series. If you had to pick maybe one player in this upcoming series that might do the same thing against the Dodgers, who would that be?
It's a good question, Luke, and I've been thinking about that, actually. I don't know that anyone's going to surprise us because obviously we know all of these players, and even Baez at this point is more of a known quantity than he was before. So I'll go with Baez again, because right now he is playing at such a high level. He can do so many things. He's a guy that should be able to stand out again if things go properly for him.
Okay, we've seen some relievers come in really early moments in this postseason so far. What's been leading to that, and do you expect that to maybe continue here in the NLCS and the ALCS?
What's led to it is the nature of the postseason schedule. You've got more off days during the postseason than you do, of course, during the regular season. So managers can burn relievers or use relievers to a greater extent than they would in a normal 162-game situation. You've only got 21 off days the entire season. Much different in the postseason. You play 2 or 3 days, you've got a day off. Now, will we see that in this series? I'm not sure we'll see it from the Cubs so much because their starters are so good, but certainly from the Dodgers. Their rotation is depleted, as we know. And as Dave Roberts managed that game last night with Rich Hill, in certain circumstances, not necessarily with Kershaw, but others, he may do the same thing. Match up, do what he has to do to get through a game. And as you saw last night, it can be quite successful under these conditions.
Well, you mentioned Rich Hill. He started his career here with the Cubs 7 teams later now. Who is he and how did he get here?
He is one of the great stories in the game, and he had some surgeries, obviously a lot of arm trouble. He had a personal tragedy, lost a child, and last year he decided, you know what, I'm done with relief and I want to be a starter again. And he was a free agent at that point, a minor league free agent essentially, signed with an independent league on Long Island. Started there, and then the Red Sox signed him as a starter. He had 4 or 5 great starts in September, then used that to get a $6 million contract from the Oakland A's, gets traded to the Dodgers, and he's really turned his career around, brought it to another level, and it's been, again, one of the better comeback stories you'll ever see.
Ken, we appreciate your time. We look forward to your work on Fox.
Thank you, Luke.
Join us tonight at 10:30 for a half hour dedicated just to the Cubs in the NLCS. David Kaplan and Kelly Kroll will join me for Cubs Playoff Central. That's tonight at 10:30 only on CSN. Some Bears news. For the first time since January, Bears' highest paid player on defense was back on the practice field. Pernell McPhee returned to practice. Now, he's not eligible to play in a game this week. He wouldn't be eligible until next week against the Packers. The Bears have a 21-day window right now to see if he's recovered from knee surgery. After that, if he's still not ready, the Bears would have to put him on IR for the rest of the season.
Awesome. mean, I feel great, man. I'm out there practicing, running around with my teammates, you know, so that's the best feeling in the world. It's real tough, you know, seeing my brothers out there fighting, but, you know, we here now, baby. Ain't no more watching, no more nothing. I'm here now, and it's been a journey, like I say, but I'm here now. Listen, man, I'm blessed. I get the opportunity to go out there and play football again. And y'all just wait on it. You'll see, man. That's the only thing that matters. I'm healthy.
No Jimmy Butler for the Bulls tonight. We're going to chat with our insider Vincent Goodwill about the Stars' absence and where the Bulls stack up with the top teams in the Eastern Conference. Plus, banged-up rookie Denzel Valentine tests out his injured ankle at shoot-around. Find out how close he is to a return. This is SportsNet Central.
Hi, I'm George Oliphant, host of George to the Rescue. Every home has a story, and sometimes there's unexpected surprises.
We're the Santino family. We've been in this home for 3 years now, and life is always an adventure. Sure enough, with all the foot traffic, you're bound to get a few holes in the wall, right?
So, Chas, this has got to be the hole in question, right?
Right.
Not a problem. I totally see how that could happen. He's coming down the stairs, elbow in the wall. Rambunctious kids. I got 3 boys. I was a rambunctious boy myself. But fixing it's not going to be a problem. With 3M large hole repair, I can patch it up, and it'll be as good as new.
Sounds good.
3M has created the perfect all-in-one large hole repair kit to make your spaces look and feel as good as new. First, remove all the debris from inside and outside the hole. Then you sand the edge of the hole and remove any loose paper. Remove the adhesive liner and center the backer plate inside the hole. Secure it with a firm pull for 30 seconds. Apply additional pressure on the back of the tape line. Push the strap back through the hole and apply the mesh tape over it to hold the compound. 3M's innovative behind-the-wall support system helps provide a nearly invisible repair. This compound is reinforced with fibers that bond to the wall for added strength. No shrinking, no sagging, no cracking, one application. Spread the compound and slightly overfill the hole with your knife. Use slow, even strokes to smooth the compound for a quality finish. When the surface dries, use the 3M sanding sponge to complete the repair. Use a primer sealer and paint away. What do you think?
George, it looks great. I love it. It's like it never happened.
It's a pro finish with a simple, easy-to-use DIY kit. And it's super strong, yet light enough that you can also use it in the ceiling.
That's great. Thank you so much.
Accidents happen, but 3M's large hole repair kit gives you the ability to respond, restore, revitalize, and make your home good as new.
CSN delivers Bears talk with Bite. Grab the boldest insights on the team all season long from our star-studded roster of former players, including Lance Briggs, Brian Urlacher, Alex Brown, Jim Miller, and former head coach Dave Wanstead. CSN Chicago, all Bears, all the time.
Welcome back. Denzel Valentine got in some work at Bulls shoot-around today. Now, he's been sidelined with a sprained ankle since he suffered it in the Bulls' first preseason game back on October 3rd. He was supposed to miss about 2 weeks with the injury. Fred Hoiberg sounded optimistic about the rookie's return when he met with the media this morning.
He's doing well. He participated in the entire shoot-around today, and we did some live action, and wanted to get him some 2-on-2 stuff. He'll do it again in the morning. Get some, it's good for his conditioning, trying to get some of his timing back. We will leave him behind tomorrow as well. A couple of the guys might come up on their own, just to be with the guys on the bench. But, as far as Denzel's concerned, hopefully get him back out there on Monday.
So it's the Bulls and Cavs in preseason action at the United Center in about an hour. LeBron James and Jimmy Butler both are going to miss this game tonight, although Jimmy says he's not dealing with a specific injury.
Jimmy the next couple days. He's been great in camp. He's been going extremely hard. He's just got a little bit of stiffness to him, so we're going to hold him out the next couple nights. Nothing serious. Just want to get him a couple days of rest.
Do I want to sit out? I don't never want to sit out. I always want to play. I always want to compete. But I think there's a time and place to be smart about everything. And we sit down and we talked about it, and we feel that that's best.
Jimmy, you haven't been forthcoming with us as far as injuries going back to last year when you lied for the whole second half of the year. So Why are we to believe that there's actually nothing wrong with you right now?
Because the only thing that you know is what I tell you. So I'm completely fine, and I'm just resting.
So if there was something wrong, you wouldn't tell us?
Probably not, because the media is not your friend. So, you know, no, but I'm good. I'm really just resting. I'm good for right now.
Thanks, Fred. I mean, Jimmy. Sorry.
Anytime. We bring in our Bulls insider, Vincent Goodwill from CSNChicago.com. So, Vinny, are you and Butler the new Shannon Sharp and Skip Bayless? Is that what's going on here?
I hope not, because I don't know which one of us is Shannon and which one of us is Skip. But as you can see, Jimmy is sitting out tonight. He's sort of nursing injuries that he had over the past year, so that's why I asked him about him being forthcoming or the Bulls being forthcoming. They insist that there's nothing to it, so we'll see what happens in the near future.
All right, anybody on the Bulls jump out at you this preseason that maybe you didn't expect?
Not necessarily, not yet. Denzel Valentine had a really good opener before he turned his ankle. Spencer Dinwiddie, who was acquired via trade right before the draft, he's played extremely well. He may wind up being the backup point guard behind Rajon Rondo. But the guys you wanted to see step up, Nikola Mirotic, Bobby Portis, they really haven't so far. These are the guys that they're going to need if they're going to elevate themselves outside of that 7 to 10 box in the Eastern Conference and put themselves into a solid playoff position. But they haven't done it yet.
Hey, no LeBron tonight. And speaking of Mr. James, yesterday D. Wade said the big three in Miami never secretly planned going to South Beach. Are you buying or selling that?
I never secretly planned to date Halle Berry, but somehow she just wound up in my arms. No. Do I think that it was a tacit agreement? Not necessarily, but do I think that it was something that they talked about? All-Star games, Olympics, group chat, whatever you want to call it. Did they talk about the possibility? For sure. But did they make any guarantees? I don't think so. I think LeBron didn't make his decision up until the last day. If people remember, Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh made their decisions on the same day, and LeBron made his a day later. There was still a chance for him to come back to Cleveland, if people remember. And don't forget, LeBron left Chris Bosh and Dwayne Wade 4 years later. So who's to say that it was a guarantee that he was going to make that decision in 2010?
Hey, we all know the Cavs are going to be good again this year, despite their lineup tonight. Who are the other top 4 teams in the East going into this, in your opinion?
Well, sorry to disappoint Bulls fans, but I don't put them in that top 4 echelon of the Eastern Conference. Obviously, you have Cleveland. I think the Indiana Pacers, who the Bulls have seen 2 times in the preseason, they're going to be really good. The Detroit Pistons, no homer pick here from my hometown. I just think that their roster is young, players on the upswing, Reggie Jackson being out, that might hurt them, but I still think they're there. And I think the Boston Celtics adding Al Horford, and a team that the Bulls are going to see right here on opening night in a couple of weeks, I think they're right in that upper echelon too. The Bulls are like a few other teams fighting from 5 to 8, but I think those 4 teams basically that I just mentioned are the class of the Eastern Conference. But even the 2 through 4, they're still a long ways behind the Cavaliers.
All right, Vinny, thanks. I knew you'd get the Pistons in there somehow. You'd be nice on Twitter now.
Can't make any promises.
All right, thanks. It's an anniversary Cubs fans would love to forget. We get a fresh perspective on baseball curses from a Cubs starter named John Lester.
My name is Jim Cornelison, and I am the national anthem singer for professional hockey in Chicago. I am in front of millions of people every time I get out on that ice. And the more I've been on camera in the last few years, I noticed, the bald patch coming in. Ultimately, I had to face the truth. I just had less hair up there.
Get your own head of thick, full hair with Restore.
The procedure is quick, it's comfortable, it's pain-free. There's no cutting, there's no stitching, and there's no linear scar. It's my own hair. It's just moved from the back to the front. I was in the morning, I was out in the afternoon.
Comb it, cut it, style it. It's your hair. You're just one call away from looking and feeling more confident.
When I walk out on the ice and I know I'm going to be on that Jumbotron, I feel good about how I look.
Call Restore today for your free consultation and get a $500 gift card. It may be the first step that changes your life forever.
Call 1-800-873-7171 or visit restorehair.com.
Attention, type 2 diabetics. According to the FDA, the drug Invokana may lead to diabetic ketoacidosis. If you or someone you love took Invokana and suffered ketoacidosis, you may be entitled to compensation. Ketoacidosis can cause kidney failure, coma, and even death. Call the law firm of Avram Blair & Associates right now for a free consultation.
Call 800-286-5089. That's 800-286-5089.
You love your couch and want to protect it from spills, food, and scratching, shedding pets. Introducing Couch Coat, the reversible, washable quilted cover that protects your couch. Shield against spills. Wow! Stop stains and dirty pet paws and sharp claws. Plus, it's reversible with 2 stylish colors. Guaranteed to fit any couch up to 92 inches or your money back. It even has covers to protect armrests. Machine washable too.
My grandkids destroy everything, but with Couch Coat, my couch is always protected, looking as good as it did the day I bought it.
Get your Couch Coat for just $19.99, and it's reversible in brown and cream, like 2 couch coats for the price of 1. Order right now, and you can double your offer. Get a second Couch Coat. Just pay a separate fee. Order right now.
Call 1-800-551-6921 to get your Couch Coat. Call now or go to CouchCoat.com. So call 1-800-551-6921. That's 1-800-551-6921. Call now.
Awfully close to fan interference right there. And that's a Cub fan who tried to make that catch.
13 years ago today was the Bartman game. The Cubs were 5 outs away from the World Series, and then they collapsed, losing Game 6 and Game 7 to the Marlins. As for curses, Game 1 starter John Lester just doesn't want to hear it.
Everybody kind of waits for something to happen, you know, as opposed to just sitting back and enjoying the game and seeing what happens. You know, there was a lot of, you turned around in the 9th inning and looked at some Cubs fans, you know, in San Francisco. There's a lot of long faces, and nobody in that dugout, you know, was ready to give up yet. So we just kept grinding, and I think that's what you have to do, even as a fan. I think you just have to kind of grind along with our team. It doesn't mean it's a curse or it's a, you know, a black cat or a goat or whatever else it is. It's us making, you know, physical mistakes, and we're going to move on to the next moment, and hopefully we're able to have that next moment and do better. You got to just keep being into the moment and really just kind of enjoy where we're at and see where it takes us.
5 pitchers can't get it. That seems logical. Be sure to tune in to Cubs postseason live during the NLCS. David Kaplan and Todd Hollinsworth will be joined by Cubs Hall of Famer Ryne Sandberg before every game starting tomorrow at 6. Hear Rhino break down the Cubs on their road to the World Series, only on CSN. Finally, Chance the Rapper is a White Sox fan, but he's not hating on the Cubs. He tweeted this out to his 2.25 million followers on Twitter. Good luck and Godspeed to the Cubs on this journey to championship history. Doing an amazing job so far. We're out of time. I'm Luke Stuckmeyer. Thanks for watching SportsNet Central, presented by Comcast Business. Blackhawks pregame live is next with Pat Boyle, Steve Conroy, and Jamal Mayers. Hawks looking for their first win of the season. And the Bulls continue their preseason on CSN Plus at 7. They host the Cavaliers. Enjoy the game.